Welcome back, my friends. I'm really sorry I didn't make a video in about 4 or 5 weeks. That's because pretty much I have not been playing any console games. I have not bought any console games. I did get EVE Online for a PC. It's like this MMO game with spaceships and it's really awesome, but as of now I'm done with it. It gets really boring. I mean, I have to wait like a half a year for one skill level and this and that. I'm like, come on, that's just too much. I'm definitely not gonna wait a half of a year to one freaking skill level so that I get 2% damage of some kind of turret. That was really funny. But I definitely had a really great time playing EVE Online, and I didn't get the Vita. No, I didn't get the Vita because I was like, the Vita is 250. The games are like pretty much 50 euros, the good games, and should I spend that much money on a handheld that I don't even know for sure I'm gonna play a lot of it? If I see how much I play on my PSP, I won't be playing the Vita that much. But after this video I will get the Vita. I'm not sure which games I will get, but of course Uncharted. Stupid. But yeah, the first thing that definitely popped in my mind when I wanted to make a video was the goodbye PSP video. Definitely the goodbye PSP video. So here it is, the goodbye PSP video. I got my PSP, this is not it though. My original PSP is long sold and dead and broken and whatever. It's in 2005 I got the PSP at launch, yes, at launch. And with the system I got Wi-Fi Pure with it, and I think a 128 megabyte memory card, and it was the bomb. It was so freaking awesome. I couldn't stop playing the PSP. The graphics are so amazing, everything played so fluid. I mean, the controls, I mean, the design of the PSP this is the best handheld system design ever. I mean, even now it looks pretty sexy. And of course we all know the Vita is pretty much a bloated PSP. And I played a lot of Pure, and then other games came out. Games like Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core that blew my mind. I'm like, yes, a real good game in the Final Fantasy VII universe. Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories, when I actually still liked Grand Theft Auto, I was like, yes, a real Grand Theft Auto PlayStation 2 style game on my PSP. And of course the hype didn't stop. Dexter, it looked so freaking amazing. The mini games are actually the best part of the game. I definitely like the Matrix mini games in Dexter. And then God of War, Chains of Olympus. The graphics were mind-blowing for the time. It was just God of War, different story. Then on the PSP, it was fantastic. But then something happened, and that was there weren't actually that many games coming out anymore. Yes, like Ratchet & Clank came out, Kills of Liberation, some SOCOM games, but it really kinda stopped, and slowly but surely I didn't care about the PSP anymore. And that went on for about 2 to 3 years. And then all of a sudden Sony, I don't know what the hell they're thinking, but they're like, you know what, we're gonna revive the PSP, and they made like Resistance games and a Motorstorm game and of course some other games. And in Japan, Monster Hunter was starting to get like a huge hype, and it was starting to get bigger and bigger, and the PSP all of a sudden was selling like freaking hotcakes in Japan there. And the developing like unit, Sony drastically decreased it in price so that even small developing teams could make PSP games. And now all of a sudden like there was a time where like 15 PSP games came out every week in Japan, and of course like 90% of them never came to Europe, never came to America, will never come to the West. but a lot of them did. And games like E7, Fate Extra, Tactic Ogres, but also games, other games like Crimson Gem Saga and so many Japanese games all of a sudden were coming to the PSP and also to the West. So definitely for the Japanese gamers, PSP is an amazing success. Maybe even better than the DS was. Maybe, it all depends. And the PSP, so it was definitely, it's still going on. I mean, there are still Japanese games that were coming out. There's actually the first visual novel game came out a couple of weeks ago. I still have to get that one. And for me, PSP definitely is something special, because also Final Fantasy was my most favorite franchise of all time. Final Fantasy VII is the best game of all time, and Final Fantasy on the PSP is the first time I ever played Final Fantasy, the second one, and I also completed it on the PSP, so that is really cool. That I played the first Final Fantasy game and completed it on the PSP. I did use a guide though, because it was freaking hard. I kind of didn't know where the hell I should go. And also something special for me for the PSP is that the PSP is the console of box sets. The console of limited edition box sets. I have around like 9 to 12 different box sets. Mostly for Japanese RPGs, because the software of the PSP failed hard. I mean, even I don't have that much knowledge of PC, etc. Even I can hack and modify this PSP in around 1 or 2 hours, and I can download and play any game I want totally for free. But the Japanese games have box sets because the companies like Exceeds and Ghostlight, they know that Japanese gamers, Japanese RPG gamers, they love their little accessoires, they love their little trinkets, I call them. And I mean, with an art book, or a little figure, or a CD soundtrack, I have no idea why, but we totally love that. And they know that if they produce box sets that they do, they will buy the game instead of just downloading it. And of course there are a lot of Japanese gamers that think, I don't care about the art book or a soundtrack, I just download them, of course. But those type of games sell decently compared to other PSP games, because they have box sets, and that the Japanese RPG gamers will get it because they want the art book, they want the CD soundtrack, they want the the poster inside of it. I do, so, and I know a lot of other people do. So that is definitely why the PSP has so many box sets. I mean, which Japanese RPG that came out last year and is coming out this year didn't have a box set? I mean, Persona had box sets, Ys got box sets, Fate got a box set, the visual novel Hakoi has a box set, so which didn't? So that's definitely, and I love box sets, I mean it looks really awesome. One of them are smaller than the other, so that's really cool. Another thing, and actually one of the last thing I want to talk about, is that the PSP, sales-wise, is pretty much a good success. It definitely grabbed some market share of Nintendo, but Sony also did something terribly wrong. It was more like an experiment for them, and that is of course the PSP Go. Hardware-wise though, this is a much sturdier, better quality device than the PSP. This is really, I don't know, it feels like plastic. And really cheap plastic. This really feels strong, sturdy. I have it 2008, so I have it 2009, 8 or 9, doesn't matter. I have it a couple of years, and the flip-flap, I just call it the flip-flap, still works incredibly good. It's really sturdy, so hardware-wise they definitely succeeded. But the thing is with this system, it's downloadable only. I think that Sony wanted to check if the downloadable market is big enough to actually build the next handheld or gaming device, downloadable only, and this system failed miserably. Thankfully, I didn't buy that many games on it. I didn't buy any actually, just PlayStation 1 games I played. And the controls are just too small. I mean, they're freaking tiny. They're too tiny. But overall, I just wanted to say that I had an amazing time with the PSP. Some ups, some downs. Definitely one of the down thing is that I actually didn't complete that many games. Pretty much none of them. But I still had a really awesome time at my work or going somewhere else and just popping up my PSP and playing fighting games and playing some RPGs and games like E7 are one of my most favorite games of all time. And I just wanted to say goodbye PSP, goodbye, and I had a really great time, but now it's time for something else. Definitely see you next time.